Are you like me and get confused with credit card refunds? Well, stick around and I'll show you how I do it. If you're new here, my name is Justin. I make regular videos where I go through some aspect of my budgeting process. This is a sort of out of cycle video. I don't normally make 2 videos a week, but when I woke up, I had a uncategorized transaction. When I looked, I realized it was a refund on my credit card. The first thing I thought was, oh crap, how do I handle refunds on credit cards? It's a rare occasion. Rare because I don't typically purchase things that I return. I try not to return things. I'm very intentional with what I purchase. I only purchase what I need and what I really want. However, there is also an element of confusion and frustration sometimes, especially with new YNAB users, because of how YNAB handles credit card spending. With that said, I decided to make this video not only for myself, for the future. If I have a refund, I can come back to this video and kind of watch it, but also for those who are new with YNAB and are dealing with a refund and not sure what to do. Disclaimer, this is my method. This is kind of a slight variation on the standard, air quote, standard YNAB method of handling refunds, certainly on a credit card. But I take it a step further because I like to really be organized. So without further ado, I will move out of the way and we'll go ahead and go through my process. So this refund is a refund on my annual renter's insurance that I purchased in November. Back when I purchased it, I didn't know that I was going to be moving. I expected to be in the apartment that I was in prior to this one for another year. That didn't work out that way. And so as a result, I had to cancel my renter's insurance because my new apartment kind of bundles it up in my rent. So this $163.78 is just the refund from canceling after only a few months. So the first thing I do is I go to the card, and here's that transaction that needs to be categorized. I'm going to change the payee because I don't use the original. So it was a rent insurance. The category needs to be the original category used for the original charge. So this was rent insurance. I have a rent insurance category. That's how it was categorized back in November. So we'll select that. A memo. I always put a memo just so that when I come back, months later, I know kind of what's going on. So this is a cancellation refund and the inflow amount is already set. So we'll go ahead and approve this. So a few things you'll notice. The credit card balance has been reduced by that refund amount. That's just natively how YNAB does it. And if I go to my February month and I go to my short-term sinking funds, which is where I keep my renter's insurance, you'll notice that $163.78 is now sitting there. My rent insurance, like I said, is wrapped up in my rent, so I don't need this category, and therefore I don't need this money sitting here. When you think of refunds, you have to think of it, how that money can be utilized in the future. So a refund on a debit card or a refund to a savings account or a checking account, that is cash money that can be spent on just about anything. When you think of a refund on a credit card, you're limited to how you can use that money specific to only that card. So I can't transfer this money out to a different card. I can't transfer this money out to a checking account. So it's restricted to only being utilized through this credit card. So to help me remember that, I have created a holding category called refund, and I have it tagged or identified for that specific credit card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this money to that category. And now I know that this money is ready to assign, but only to that credit card or charges on that credit card. If I didn't have any overspending on that card, this is kind of where I would leave it. The next time I need to allocate money and I know that there's going to be a charge on that card, I would take that money rather than taking it from ready to assign. I would take it from this refund first, because first in, first out, right? So that refund is going to be used first before any other money needs to be paid to that card. However, I have two overspent categories. You can see up here, there are two overspent categories, and both of them are on this card. So I'm going to take care of 90, 85, 90% of this overspending, because the amount of the refund isn't going to cover all of it anyways. So those two overspent categories are Spotify and clothing. We'll take care of clothing first because that is the bigger one. And this is also a charge that I only purchased because I was getting this refund and knew I was getting the refund. Then we'll just put the balance of the refund amount on Spotify and then deal with the excess overspent a different way. The clothing, I bought two more jackets. So if you watched my previous video, I talked about purchasing a jacket. I talked about how it was a little oversized, but it was a small, and the only other size would have been an extra small. Well, Dick's Sporting Goods didn't have anything less than a small. So I went to the Columbia Sportswear website, and they actually did have extra small version of the jacket that I purchased. And so I bought two with the intent of using both to kind of lengthen the lifespan, but also not have to purchase another jacket for quite a while. I'm very particular about my jacket. I was very particular about this jacket specifically. And so now that I have two, that means I don't have to worry about buying a jacket for probably another 15 years or so. So I will take the money from the refund category and cover that full overspending. And then I have, I think, $28 left. We will cover as much as I can. So now I have used all of that refund up, and I still have $56.08 that I need to figure out where that money is going to come from. So I can take it from my discretionary spending, and normally I do cover overspending with that, or I could let it sit and cover it with my next paycheck that I get in about a week and a half. For now, I'm just gonna let it sit there as overspent. I will take care of it with my next paycheck and we'll go from there. So that is how I handle refunds on a credit card. Again, if I didn't have those overspent categories, that refund amount would sit in that refund category until the next time I needed to fund something with my credit card, whether it's a regular payment, like a subscription that's on that card, or something on a whim that I purchased, like these two items. Let me know in the comments how you handle refunds. Is this similar to how you do it? Is there an easier way? Because like I said in the beginning, there are probably multiple ways to do refunds. This is how I do it, but I'm open to suggestions. This makes sense to me, so it would need to be a very intuitive suggestion for me to try it out. But with that said, I will see you in the next video.